Hello and welcome to another episode of Evolve Point, or should I say Super Evolve Point, the Shadowverse podcast where we talk about all the news, the esports, the everything happening with Worlds Beyond and even classics sometimes. This is a worse intro. I think this might be top 5 worst intros I've done for this podcast.
Yeah, you're fumbling it.
It's like
well, I mean, to be
it's
fair,
like you went for you're going for a really, really normal intro, and that just makes it sound off.
well, it's because like we didn't do last week, so I'm out of practice already. So,
Yeah, it's like, how do you do this again?
I'm
Welcome back to the Evolve Point podcast, your local Blue Archive podcast.
No,
all your archivist needs.
No. Okay, anyway, I'm your host, Ignideus. I'm a streamer, commentator, etc. With me, as always, are my co-host, Lord Kalen, moderator of the Reddit and the unofficial Discord. Hello.
Hello. I do those things.
And, of course, also Such Patanko, another streamer. Hi.
Hey, hi.
Good stuff.
Apologies that we were not able to post things last week because 2 of us were out last week. Kaden was dying with the flu, and
I'm still not recovered.
Me, I had to evacuate.
Yeah, he got a tsunami
I had a
warning.
bit of
That
a
was
thing.
pretty tough. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
live in Hawaii, and the day of the recording, like we were like, oh, when are we gonna record? Oh, I have to evacuate right now, guys. In the Mao. Oh,
on a scale
well,
of
that's-
my life is ruined to nothing ever happens, what happened?
nothing ever happens.
All
Saw
right.
videos
Yeah.
of the classic Polynesian Hawaiian kind of thing where you just you're all about to die, so you go fishing. Yeah, saw plenty of that.
All the locals here have the mindset of nothing ever happens because we've had so many warnings and scares in the past. But you should always be prepared anyway.
One of these days.
Yeah, you should always save approximately 13 decks.
There were maybe 2 towns that got hit by actual floods, and that's it. But yeah, I had to make the decision as a TCG player. I had to decide which decks do I save. I can only pack so many decks. I had to narrow down.
The thing is, I
I
was so
did
worried
hear
about
on
Tonko.
Keynote.
I was so worried about Tonko, and then he just kept posting to Discord him playing Shadowverse while parked in a parking lot. It's like, you're
Yeah.
fine, actually. What am I worried
Yeah,
about?
no.
I did hear on Twitter that the actual tsunami was actually just like one wave that was like a meter higher than normal or something like that.
I mean, it's still scary
So
though.
you-
It's best to
Yeah.
be, it's obviously still best to, be
But
prepared.
I think the real travesty was while you were evacuating, you hadn't updated and linked your Shadowverse Classic to your new phone, so you couldn't even
Yeah, and
get
I was-
Grandmaster in Altasphere.
I was actually trying to grind Classic. I did make it on time, but I had to stay up in the very last day to reach Classic Grandmaster for Altasphere.
What
We'll
are you
get to that
doing?
later on.
Well, why? Anyway,
The sleeves. I don't know if you've seen them, Igni, but those Altasphere
They're-
silver
they're so
Grandmaster
nice.
sleeves were really nice, actually.
And
let's
they do transfer over.
Okay, I mean, we'll talk about that later. Well, I mean, that's a good segue into what are we covering this episode. Of course, we're going to cover the news from last week that we didn't get a chance to cover before, but also, just lots of things coming out. Take-Two is out, of course. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the recent Lilanthim Bundle that was just announced. All the esports. There's been multiple tournaments happening over the past 2 weekends that we'll break down as well. And we'll talk a little bit about our classic. And then the main topic is the snafu that happened with the SVO Kickoff, the drama and the fumbling and how they're recovering from that. So let's just get into it, shall we? So the first topic is the Weekend Lobby Tournament. They've made it so that you can choose now between 8-man and 16-man instead of being forced to play one or the other. I don't know why you would ever play the 8-man one. It's just like significantly worse. But
The
Well-
8-man tournament is shorter, but it's not significantly shorter compared to
it's
just
shorter
going
by
for
one
4
round.
person.
It's shorter by like 15
Yeah.
minutes. Like, who cares? It feels so
I
weird.
did play in the 8-man for that last one, the week 3 tournament, and I only actually went 1 win and 2 losses. I was very clear in what I was intending to do in that, and I went in, looked at the ranks of the people, because you can go in at any rank into those. It was still 2 master ranks and then the rest of the lobby were like AA or A rank.
Well, just play the 16-man one then.
Yeah, just play the 16-man. It's no easier.
It's no easier, and the rewards are worse. If you really don't have time, just play 3 rounds in the 16-man one. You still get better rewards, and then in the last round, you can just like not check into the match, and you still get the rewards better, don't you? Or do you get forfeited out of the rewards?
If you're going for the feats, if you're going for lifetime missions of so and so amount of lobby tournament wins, or winning the whole tournament, then yeah, doing 3 games instead of 4 is technically easier for that. But I'm not in a rush to go. The lifetime missions aren't good anyway, so it's just a cute little bonus if you happen to get them.
Like even if you don't have time, just do the 16-man one and then just concede the last game. You still get more that way, I'm pretty sure.
That's messed up.
I mean, like, listen, who cares? People, it's like not a real tournament, so it doesn't actually matter. Well, yeah, there you go. Also, the Rupies Galore Volume 2 event ended, where you had to play private matches and you get the chests. Did you guys get anything good out of that?
Yeah, what was it? I got a foil Burnite, that was the one. Foil Burnite from that was the main pull, and then I got 8 total packs from the other 49 chests I opened.
6 of my chests in that event were vials. That's messed up. 6 out of 10 of them.
You only opened 10 chests?
I mean the 10 like event chest,
not
not the
golds.
park chest. Yeah.
Dude,
wait.
I'm talking about Rupies Galore lobbies, dude. Not the
event.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh, the Rupies Galore event, the 10 chests. Yeah, I wrote down what each of us got. I'm pretty sure we all did terrible. Because I had friends that got way better.
It's the desire sensor, dude. Tonko's conspiracy theory coming to light.
Yeah,
mine was just so bad. I didn't even bother screen capping or anything. I got maybe 2 packs worth total.
All right. Well, this is depressing. Let's just move on to the next one.
I did write it down. Igni, you got 100 rupees, 1,000 vials, and 2 tickets. Tonko, you got 1150 rupees and 400 vials. And I got 200 rupees, 2,450 vials, and 1 ticket.
Dude, it's terrible.
We all did terrible.
Horrific. Well, I mean, the thing is, if any of us actually won the 2.5 million, people would just be calling it rigged. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit that I won if I did that. I'd censor my rupee count in screenshots for the rest of the history of the game, and people would always be asking why I had to censor it.
Yeah, you don't announce it, you don't reveal it, but there will be signs.
It's like winning the lottery, You don't tell your family members, You just pretend like nothing happened. All right, the big thing, of course, is that Take-Two is out. Pog, how do we feel about it? Take-Two is the draft format for Shadowverse, of course. So the way it works is that you get to choose any class this time, rather than the previous method where you get a random 3. And your first 2 cards are previewed, so you know what legendary and gold you're building around when you go into the draft. I kind of hate it.
I'm gonna have my upfront negative opinion about it, and just throw. I'm gonna be negative once about it. I hate this mode. I hope no one plays it. I hope it dies, and it forces Cygames to change the game mode.
I don't even disagree, because I think let's explain it. Okay, so previously in Shadowverse Classic, you had 5 games total. And you could lose any amount or win any amount, and then your rewards were just based on how many you won, right? In this one, it's a potential of 9 games total. You can get up to 7 wins, but if you lose 2, you're out immediately. So it feels incredibly bad. Also, the entrance fee is higher. It's 1,000 rupees, which is about 2 packs. Whereas previously, I believe Take-Two is 1.5 packs.
1.5 packs.
The entrance fee is higher. And if you pay 1,000 rupees and then immediately lose 2, you get kicked out and you basically get nothing in return. I mean, you get something, but you basically get nothing in return.
Hack?
Yeah.
If you just get 0 wins, and then if you get 1 win, it's 100. You need to get 3 wins for the entrance fee to be better or on par.
You need 2 wins for on par, which is one ticket and 500 rupees. But to actually go infinite, you need 5 wins. So
So let's make it clear. This isn't us complaining or comparing with Shadowverse Classic. Oh, it was better back in the day. Now, as it stands within this game, this is brutal. Getting kicked after 2 losses is super cutthroat for a draft format.
And I do understand, like, it does feel bad to have a shit draft in the classic game and then be feeling like you forced to play all 5 just in case. And then you end up going 0-5 and you like just crash out. That does feel bad. I get that. But 2 losses? That's really harsh. I feel like it should at least be 3.
I'd also just like say, like, I recorded almost every Take-Two run I did in Shadowverse Classic, and I think I only ever went 0-5 once. You, even with a bad deck, you can get a win or 2. You can. But
like in a draft format, you're gonna get screwed over by RNG, get bad cards. It is what it is. But a lot of the deal with Take-Two is, learning what you can do with what you've got, adapting, learning uncommon strategies, whatever, learning from mistakes. But with 2 losses, though, you don't really have that leeway to make mistakes.
Yeah, because you lose once and you're like, okay, I kind of understand what I'm doing here. Second game, you try out something different. And then if you lose that one, you're just out. And it's like, okay, well, damn, like that freaking sucks.
There are definitely positive things to say about the new Take-Two mode, and that would be that you get to pick whatever class you want to play.
Great.
That's great. People have complained that results in you only playing the best class. But historically, if you don't get to choose who you are playing, people complained about that more.
Tonko, you kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would argue that because you can just simply pick the class, it makes a deck like Sword so much more popular in Take-Two. Almost every game is going to be against Take-Two. But
you mean Sword?
There are surprising. Huh?
You said every game is going to be against Take-Two, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that is what I meant.
Yeah.
But there are other classes that have a surprisingly decent matchup against Sword if you draft right. Dragon is actually surprisingly decent in Take-Two.
I think Dragon is the second best class in Take-Two. I think the top 3 is Sword, then Dragon, then Portal from my experience. Those are the top 3.
Surviving the early game with Dragon is rough, but once you reach those late game cards, you have so much removal, huge swings, heals and stuff that you can outlast Sword. But of course, if you're gonna die in just 2 losses, then you might as well just pick Sword most of the time, because it's the most reliable. That's kind of mindset you have to have.
There are reasons for picking other classes. There's the Master of Take-Two in this current set, which is, for the current set, get 7 wins with every class. That is actually a flair you can get. There's also, it shows on your profile. Getting 7 wins with what classes you've gotten 7 wins with, so that's a flex for you. But other than that, the other positives of this mode, of course, there's feats that come with the mode. So just winning any game progresses your feats at least, so that you get some.
And you
reward
do
back.
Seem to get a fair amount of rupees from those because you were flunking out of a couple of runs, but still managed to keep going because of your feats.
That's true, but I also did get a 13 win streak, and that kept me going for a while too, because that gave me like 2,000 rupees, and I'm like, okay, I can keep going then. And then also, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the new ranking system is pretty cool. So Take-Two now has matchmaking, so people who are actually good at Take-Two will match against more people who are good against Take-Two, and it's you're less likely to match against somebody who's really good at Take-Two if you're really bad, because there's actually like MMR, and it's not like ladder ranking, because if you lose, you actually do lose points here. So it's more.
I would imagine this is how Grandmaster is going to work. Yeah. Because if you look at when you're in Master rank now, you get Master points for that current season and Master points for your Master level.
Yeah.
There's just going to be 3 scales with a Master point that also goes up and down, and you need to earn 10,000 of those to get GM. That's probably how it's going to work.
I agree. But anyway, I do like the ranking system
Another
because it prevents newbies from ranking against like people who are really good at Take-Two. So there you go.
Yeah, and another thing to praise the event is the reroll system. That adds skill to the taking of 2.
So to
previously didn't exist.
To give context, is that right now in your draft you get to reroll twice if you don't like the pairs you get. But the problem with that is that they said they would balance it so that classes who perform worse get more rerolls, but they haven't done that yet. So right now, everybody
They don't have the data to do that. They don't know. You could predict what class would be good in Take Two.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it would be Sword, but they didn't pre-balance it, which is understandable.
That's fair, but
Next
I hope that they do.
Sword's getting like one reroll at most.
Yeah, I hope that they do. I hope they balance it more frequently than just per season, though, because by the time the next
who knows when they're gonna balance that?
Yeah, no, because it's like by the time the next set comes out, the Take Two landscape might be different, right? So like, how are you even gonna balance it based off the previous data? You know, so that's the thing.
Well, people will figure out that if everyone is going to play Sword, you can play anti-Sword classes if they exist.
All right, that's it for the Take Two news.
Never mind. I while you guys were complimenting Take Two, I still have plenty of things to complain about.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, so the Take Two system itself is a lot better compared to Classic, aside from the 2-loss system. But offering Take Two as exclusively a ranked mode is crazy. You can't play Take Two in private matches anymore. You can't play. There's no unranked or casual way to play Take Two. As far as I can tell.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about like reverse Take Two and stuff.
And that's especially that's a real shame because Take Two has always traditionally been really accessible for new players.
Wait, there's no reverse Take Two?
No for entry.
I didn't even check.
There's no reverse Take Two.
What? No!
I mean,
that's Igni's mode. That is literally his mode.
That's a content creator mode, bro. And Take Two has always been a good option for new players because they don't have to have a developed collection. It's a low bar of entry typically, and you're gonna get
one
skill
free run every 15 days in Shadowverse Classic.
Yeah,
but that seems to be gone.
There's no Take Two ticket giveaway. I assume we only get 1 per set now. We'll have to see. Hopefully, they do give out more tickets than that, but I don't know.
You can get Grand Prix tickets from Park Chest, but that's rare as hell. I've never gotten one. I would assume
Grand Prix
they've also added
green.
arena tickets.
Tickets. Are arena tickets in the Park Chest?
I don't know. I could check the park real quick, but I'd have to leave the room.
Also, those Smurf accounts you would find in Classic, those beginner ranked players that were masters of Take Two, because a lot of players in Classic would make brand new accounts so that they'd have a fresh supply of tickets and rupees to just enter Take Two, and then they'll make a new account. You can't do that anymore, not just because they have that rank system in Take Two, so you can't Smurf, but also you have to have a minimum of D rank to enter Take Two.
Yeah.
So,
it's not hard to get D rank, bro. It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's like less than 20 wins to get to D rank. But
it's just
that
kind
being
of funny
said, it does stop you from smurfing.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny though that they actively made a decision to stop those players that just reroll new accounts like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably intentional. They probably don't want people doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, there's a mix of good and bad, but I have more bad than good to say, and it kind of sucks because it just feels like it kind of. I mean, I hate to give the impression that we're once again old men yelling at Cloud. Oh, it was better back in the day, but it was okay. It was better back in the day, and they messed it up.
Can they stop giving us clouds to yell at? It's just that easy.
Yeah. All right. Next topic is that the 3rd set is coming late August. So initially they said that Take Two would be out with the 3rd set. Then they said it would be out in August. And obviously now Take Two is out. So it came out earlier than scheduled. And now set 3 is coming late August. And I want to just remind everybody that with set 3, it is going to be the last set on this accelerated release schedule. So once set 3 comes out, set 4 and onward will be coming out in 2-month iterations. So this is the last set that's coming out ahead of time. How do you feel about that? Like, did you guys feel the accelerated release schedule at all? Or like, was it just not a thing?
No, because every day feels so long in this accelerated release schedule right now. You have so much time to play like each expansion. It's gonna feel weird when we have 2 months of the same expansion.
It's gonna feel significant. Like I thought I would feel it, but actually it felt fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Aside from, I've definitely felt it this season, but saving rupees is so much slower in Infinity Evolve compared to Legends Rise, and I'm not sure if that's just because of things like the invite event campaign thing with invite codes.
See, that
represents 12,000 rupees.
My concern is
I'm only at like 30,000 now after how many weeks?
Yeah, so now that the sets are going to be more spaced out, you will have more time to accumulate resources and stuff. But I still hope they keep the current cadence of events, because like having a week or two where there's nothing on just feels bad,
I think they're going to have to accelerate because
like right now, Take Two came out, but there's no ranked event, there's no anything going on. So I literally just log on,
what I mean is,
and then quit. I'm like, okay.
Like when there's Rupies Galore and a chest event, it feels great because you go into Park, you get multiple keys, you're building up for that. You go into Ranked, you get multiple chests. Right now we're in a dead zone where you get 2 chest keys a day, and you can do your dailies, and that's it.
Yeah.
They need to. I'm not necessarily they need to kick up how often Grand Prix are and chest events are. It's just we're really used to Shadowverse Classic, where we got those 3 perfectly timed events a season of a chest event, and then 2 Grand Prix. That actually kind of felt great if the game was in a not maintenance mode, because you had plenty of to do. All the time.
Exactly. I feel like there should be something on all the time. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but you don't want to make Shadowverse feel like a job, like some card games I've played.
But we shouldn't have like a week. We shouldn't have like a week of nothing on. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we have a lot more than a week of nothing. Since the Rupee Galore and chest event ended, we had a week of nothing, and then Take Two came out. Now we have 2 weeks of nothing until the 20th, when the next Grand Prix happens. And spoiler season for cards doesn't start for another week or 2.
Yeah, kind of a holding pattern here.
Like once we get to these 2-month cycles, these dead zones are going to feel a lot wider. Yeah, but we don't have a date on when that is.
Yeah, like I feel like we just need more. Once we get to the 2-month cycle, they just need to. I would like them to put out more events in general, including a big Shadows Park event every expansion. Maybe that would help.
That'd be cool. Like the Battle Festival, I think it's coming next set though. Like it's still a while off, right? So
was it? Oh.
Is it next set or is it this set? I'm not sure. But if it is this set, that's good.
In the Shadowverse channel for Infinity Evolve.
I feel like we would have known more about it by now if it was this set, so I'm just going to assume it's for the next set at this point.
I don't know. I just wish that there was like, and I especially wish they leveraged Park more, Like the lobby, like the Rupees Galore event is cool, but like the Shadowverse Battle Fest definitely is, a part of that. I hope that they lead into that, do more of that stuff. So, we'll see how it goes, I guess, for the first time around, but there you go. All right, next thing is the Lilanthim Bundle. They just announced this right before we recorded. It's a mid-expansion crystal bundle, 5 times only. Purchase bonuses are Lilanthim Evolve sleeve and emblem, and you also get Apprentice Globe, Seer's Globe, and Seer's Gem. Are you buying this?
No. I already regret spending 10,000 rupees on the other bundle this expansion. This is just as bad.
I mean, I'm gonna buy it. You know why I'm gonna buy it? It's because I don't have Philemia.
Ultra Whales are going to buy it because it's one of the cheapest ways to get a Seer's Gem. For some reason, most expensive item in the game.
I don't give a crap about Seer's Gem. I don't have Philemia. I don't have Philemia, so I'm probably gonna buy this.
But the thing is, Igni, put it this way: you could just buy a pack a day for the next 100 days and guaranteed get her instead of spending this 5,000.
Yeah, but then by the time, in 100 days, brother will be in the freaking set bajillion. So I gotta do it now.
We'll be in the Stone Age.
Oh, but you can progress your crystal levels that you've invested into this set. You can get more now.
I am gonna buy this. Like, that's not a joke, but I will say it is a joke that like I don't think that people should buy this. You only buy this if you are playing this game full time like me. So.
I I like Lilanthim, but I'm not that much of a simp that I have to buy her sleeves.
For you, Tonko, I will buy this bundle and maybe I'll animate the Lilanthim, just so you can see it.
I'll live vicariously through you. Now, if they do this with a Polocraft character, then I have to change my mind.
You know what I would rather do? I would rather get the Phylene sleeve and then animate the feet. So
yeah, that's what I. Oh man, that's what I intend to do if I ever get a second Phylene sleeve. But the thing is, if you're just a dolphin that only buys battle passes, it takes like 2 or 3 years to get an animated sleeve. Did you notice that? Because you only get one gem.
I got a gem from. I got a gem from. I don't remember what I got gem shards from something. So I actually do have enough to animate a sleeve now. So.
You got a gem from the Shadowverse Evolve pack code.
I got a gem from that, but I also got gem shards recently, and I was able to use my gem shards to make a gem. So now I actually do have enough to animate a sleeve. So I don't know where I got that from, but I'm pretty sure they do give out gem shards a little more freely. A little more freely. Not a lot, but a little. Anyway, next thing is Shadowverse Worlds Beyond actually had a keynote at CEDEC, which is like a big Japanese game developer conference, and I just want to bring up some of the things that they talked about here. So first, they just talked about how the game works. Then they talked about the official tournaments and how they're expanding the Shadowverse IP into anime and the TCG. But then they were like, why would we need to make Worlds Beyond? Well, that's because the Shadowverse IP, and it says here, which is crazy, they're aiming for the Shadowverse IP to have a 20th and 30th anniversary.
I don't think that's the first time they've said that. I don't think that's the first time they've said that.
Yeah, they said before they want the IP to last a long, long time. They said that before.
And then they said there were technical limitations of the old game, so they wanted to make a new game, and they wanted to balance ease of play and the problem and with competitiveness, and they also wanted to address the first player advantage. Then they talked about how they did that. This is a developer conference, remember? So they're talking about their design philosophy, and what they did was they gave a side-by-side comparison of how they did it, where like they made the card text simpler and having the card, giving only a card a single role and having only essential abilities and stuff, but adding super evolution and extra play points, so you still have a lot of options in battle. Then they say that in the original game they had cards that specifically gave you advantage if you were going second, and there was kind of a clunky way to address going second advantage. But now we have extra play points, and I think some people would say that that might have been overcompensating, because a lot of people think that going second is just better now.
Going back to that last point, yeah, they definitely made cards more simple, and each like individual card sticks to its lane. Yeah, like Norman only summons a ward or heals or draws. He has like one lane he sticks to. It's all thematic around it.
You're not wrong, but I don't think a card like Ramiel would ever be printed in Worlds Beyond, right? Like a card that specifically basically says if you're going second, get an advantage.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I hope they never print anything like that again.
Then
the game just launched. The card design is going to be relatively simple, and that's their plan. But we'll see how long that lasts, though, because are they going to be able to keep it simple 5 years from now?
It felt like with this expansion, they immediately decided to start creeping into classic Shadowverse design with cards like Gildaria super evolving for free.
Gildaria's ridiculous. I freaking hate that card.
I personally think Gildaria, Norman, and Odin are on a level that shouldn't be this early on in the game.
Yeah, it was too soon for a generic storm like Odin. It was too soon for a free evil like SVO for Gildaria.
It's also Odin's the first amulet banish and generic banish, and I feel like it was too soon for those as well, because we had this really nice state where board-based gameplay was possible. It was rare for someone to be able to just slam one card that killed your tower.
Well, that didn't last long, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then they also said that, how in original Shadowverse there were 4 major updates per year with mini expansions, so 8. But here they have 6 major updates a year with no mini expansions, so it's much more. It's a accelerated schedule just in general. And then they mentioned that back in Shadowverse 1, when they tested cards in Shadowverse 1, they would test it like analog. Like they would just like print it out on a printer and test it.
We'd seen behind the scenes photos of them doing that.
But now they test it in a beta client, and it's like, thank God, they're like out of the Stone Age. And I love that.
That also implies they have a lot more freedom in what effects they can put onto a card if they're able to just slap it into a beta and have it work.
They slap it
might
into
have rebuilt the engine in a way where it just understands card effects better than Shadowverse Classic.
Yeah, they just slap it into a test environment, and they can they mention that they can make balance changes the same day, so that makes playtesting a lot easier. That being said, their playtesting process still isn't perfect, as we see from this set. But I just think it's an interesting little peek into how the development for card games work and some of their thought processes behind that. So there you go. I think that's all the actual news. So let's dive into the esports corner, Kaylin's favorite segment. First thing I want to talk about.
Not only do I have no idea what happened in esports this week, it's even more special because I know something major went wrong.
Yeah, so we'll talk about something major that went wrong in the main topic section. But first, can we just like break down the actual results? Is that all right with y'all?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So kickoff number 1, which is the first kickoff number 1. There are 2 kickoff number 1s because something did go wrong. But all this data, by the way, is courtesy of GIF. Thank you, GIF, for compiling all of the data. The only thing that I want to preface is that this format is 2-deck best of 1, meaning you bring 2 decks and then you choose which deck to play. So the data is really interesting in that it might be completely bunk, because you might bring one good deck and one fake deck and then just never queue the fake deck and then pretend like it's good by, ranking well. So pretty stupid format, but and a lot of people don't like it. That being said, it's only the early stages of the tournament that have this weird format, and then going into the playoffs and then the finals, it is going to be 2-deck best of 3, thank God. So we'll have a more accurate view of what the competitive meta looks like once the 2-deck best of 3 meta is out. Just telling you to keep that in mind, that this format is a bit strange. All right, so the number 1 lineup obviously is mid-range sword spell boost rune, with 244 players out of like 1,000 players. So there you go. Then it was mid-range sword and mid-range abyss with 88. Then artifact portal spell boost rune with 78. Artifact portal mid-range sword 69. And to number 5, Wardhaven spell boost rune with 68 players. So the reason why I brought up the format is that Wardhaven is really popular in this format. And the reason is it prevents people from queuing Roach. You literally just have Wardhaven in your lineup to prevent somebody from queuing Roach, and then you never play the Wardhaven. That's the actual strategy. How do we feel about that?
So,
it's going to be one of the unique eccentricities of a tournament as opposed to ranked.
No, but it's because it's specifically 2-deck 1 best of 1, right? If it was 2-deck best of 3, you would actually have to win with Wardhaven. So nobody's going to play it. So it's only because it's this format that Wardhaven is becoming popular, simply to stop Roach. Like, that's all there is to it. It's very silly.
So once you reach the final rounds, though, you do have to do proper best of 3 with both decks. Do you change the lineup before the last day,
I'm pretty sure you can change the lineup between rounds, or between sections of the tournament. So I'm pretty sure you are able to change. So I'm pretty sure Wardhaven's going to fall off a cliff, man.
Yeah. For the final set, you play 2 Rio decks, being, probably Rude and Sword. But yeah, okay.
Or Abyss. Abyss is actually pretty all right. So there you go. But yeah, congratulations to all the players who qualified. There's some really familiar names here. Daniel Yanto from Shadowverse Evolve, world champion, the first world champion of Shadowverse Evolve, qualified with Spell Boost Rune mid-range sword. So that's the first world champion, but also the current world champion, Wibbs, also qualified with Spell Boost Rune and mid-range Abyss. So it's really cool to see like names I see from Shadowverse Evolve playing Worlds Beyond and doing well. It's freaking sick. I love it. So there you go.
It's a lot easier for a Evolve player to get into Worlds Beyond than it was for an Evolve player to get into Classic, right?
True. Yeah. The rules are a little more similar too. A couple of other familiar names: Dream Life, one of the best competitive players out there. Cryzome qualified as well. So very cool to see. Also, YouTuber Prussia also qualified. So pretty neat. The conversion rate is the rate of like what decks like percentage of decks that qualified versus decks played, right? And the highest conversion rate is Roach with 7.61%. Roach is way better in tournament than it is on ladder. It's just the skill level of players in tournaments is higher, obviously, and Roach is a very execution-heavy deck. And also, it only has like really one counter, which is Wardhaven. I mean, there are, like defensive abysses and all that, but like it's basically just Wardhaven that counters it. So if you can have success with Roach,
With the conversion rate, it is a lot less players bringing Roach, compared to Sword and Rune. But there's a moderate amount of those Roach players that are reaching day 2. So, there were 14 Roaches that made it to day 2 from this first kickoff, whereas there were 32 Swords and 32 Runes, but...
And I want to say 8 Artifact Portals, 3 Puppet Portals, 4 Wardhaven players, and only 2 Dragon players total out of the entire lineup. So that's pretty sad, man. Dragon, send help.
Of this first kickoff, 2/3 of the day 2 survivors, or the people that went on to day 2, 2/3 were Sword and or Rune, while the whole other third was every other class.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, the meta is very centralized around Sword and Rune right now. But I genuinely think if it was 2-deck best of 3, we're probably going to see an uptick in Roach and a downtick in Wardhaven. Just because, that just makes sense, IMO. All right, moving on to the next thing. Wait, hold up. Bringing it up right now. The next thing is the STO, the Shadowverse Taiwan Open, which also happened last weekend. Lots of competition in the last weekend. This tournament did differ in that Roach is a big winner here. And once again, shout outs to Jif for compiling all the data. He also started documenting performance delta, which is just like the easiest single glance way to see what the best performing deck is overall, just like calculating all the other factors. Funny enough, like obviously the most qualified is Spell Boost Rune, mid-range Sword, and then Roach. But according to Performance Delta, the highest performing deck with only 59 players but 10 qualified is Aggro Sword with a Performance Delta of 65. So Aggro Sword kinda coming in clutch, which is pretty sick. And the least performant deck is Ramp Dragon with negative 81.77.
What does that even mean?
Out of 53 players, only 1 qualified.
Wow.
The fact that 1 even qualified is
that's crazy.
I respect that, but man,
that's so
crazy.
Sad, man. Somebody save Dragoncraft. This is actual poopy doo-doo. What are you gonna
Not
do?
only do we deserve an alt art for Dragon Sign that is a updated Oracle artwork, we also deserve Dragon Sign to get buffed to be Oracle.
We deserve 1 good card, okay? Neptune was a good start. Let's add another good one, please.
Neptune's shockingly good.
Card
I still think Neptune has a really weird design. Same with the 5-play point one, where the design just kind of looks off when you look at it in the way it functions in summoning the Megalorcas and what effects happen on evolve and
we're bootleg Sword, man. Right? We just gotta All right. So for the Taiwan Open, the top lineups, obviously with 25.39 players, what percent of players, 361 players, mid-range Sword, Spell Boost Rune. Duh. Second place, Spell Boost Rune, Roach Forest. Then mid-range Sword, mid-range Abyss. Then Spell Boost Rune, mid-range Abyss, and then in fifth, Wardhaven, Spell Boost Rune. So again, it's the 2-deck best of 1. So we're seeing Wardhaven brought just to deter Roach players. But even so, that didn't stop them because they just Q Spell Boost Rune anyway. So it's fine. Yep. There you go. Pretty cool.
That one craft pretty much always has to not exist.
Yeah.
Because it can't balance all 7 perfectly. But man, Dragon really doesn't exist right now, does he?
Like, one class is always going to be the worst, but it doesn't have to be this bad. You know, that's all I'm saying. All right.
Meanwhile, I just picked up Dragon myself for the first time this week, and I kind of see the vision. I kind of started getting fanny pilled.
It's because you like gambling.
Ironically, dude, out of all the decks I played this expansion, everything sucks. Everything I play is terrible, but Fenny was technically the least terrible somehow.
You-
I climbed from Topaz to Sapphire
She's
and
your
then dropped back down to Ruby, but that's beside the point.
she's your buddy. She's your buddy fight, dude.
My buddy.
I played Swordcraft to get to Master rank this season. I went from AA0 to Master with just Sword, and that was 142 wins. I am at 40.8% Diamond this season
Nice.
with Sword and Rune. They are
Jesus.
that good.
I'm
They are
currently
so good. I'm not a 40% Diamond player, but
I've-
Sword and Rune are.
I've never even gotten to Diamond yet at all.
I've been in Diamond most of
Um,
this season. I just recently ranked down to Sapphire yesterday because I was testing out different Abyss builds. But I've been in Diamond most of the season, mostly playing Abyss. So I'm a big fan. But I just feel bad. 'cause
Yeah,
Tonko-
you're at 31% Diamond this season.
I've been mostly
and
Diamond this season. But
Yeah.
I feel bad because Tonko's just not vibing with anything.
Taco's been playing
I've
SP
been
Classic.
struggling.
He doesn't care. He's been doing crazy in SP Classic.
we'll get to that when we get there. I'm going to be the classic main of the podcast. The fucking classic player.
You know, the classic corner on this podcast is like a 5-second segment where we talk about the format and then
Yeah.
move on.
Good enough for me.
All right, moving on is the SKO, which also happened this last weekend. That's the Shadowverse Korea Open. A bit of a difference here. We're seeing a huge uptick in Wardhaven in the lineup, I think. Yeah, so it's 155 players brought mid-range Sword Spellboost Rune, obviously, that's the highest one. Then Spellboost Rune Roach Forest, then mid-range Sword Roach Forest, then Wardhaven Spellboost Rune, and then Spellboost Rune Aggro Abyss. So big uptick in Roach as well. I think Roach is obviously one of the strongest decks in tournament. We also see that in terms of the conversion rate. Number 1 is Spellboost Rune, then mid-range Sword, then Roach, then Aggro Abyss. So there you go.
I guess we've been neglecting to mention, but Portal seems also pretty dead in these tournaments, doesn't it?
Well,
I've been trying not to rant about that, but Portal has been kind of fake. But for Korea though, there were, if I'm not mistaken, there was exactly one artifact player
Mhm.
that made it to top 8 or whatever.
Mhm.
And didn't they win the whole thing? Was this the one?
No, I'm not sure. I don't think playoffs have happened yet, but yeah, there is one artifact portal and also one puppet portal who made it. And this is the only one where 0 dragon players made it to the top cut. So there you go. So, Tonko, you can complain all you want, but I have it worse. So it doesn't affect me. Dragon is the worst one still by far.
Oh no, I'm not gonna act like Portal is any worse than Dragon. But I'm just saying, technically I've had more success with Dragon compared to Portal personally. So
Yeah, but 0 dragons made top cut on this one, and that's pretty tragic.
the performance delta for Puppet Portal is really funny for SKO here because exactly one Puppet Portal made it out of only 31 Puppet Portal players, but the performance delta as a whole 141%.
Yeah.
Like
No, but
I don't know math. I don't understand math, but it's really funny.
Aggro Abyss also did really well this tournament with
Yeah.
with 2. I mean, that makes sense. I've
just
always
2
said that
guys.
I believe Aggro Abyss is a real deck. Like, that deck is actually really scary. That's a lot of burn.
Aggro Abyss has fallen off, but it's not bad. It's still not bad.
Yeah, and even if the Aggro Abyss falls off, mid-range is still pretty good. So there you go. Next up, we have the Pro League. Now, this differs from the other tournaments we talked about because it's not an open tournament. It's an invitational. You actually have to be a pro player in a pro team to play Pro League. But, it was fun to watch because it's a very interesting format. So the way it works is that there's 5 players on the team, and they each pick one class to represent. You do a head-to-head for 3 battles, but then the player who wins can't play again. And then if the winner is not decided in those first 3, you go to the 4th battle. And if it's not decided in that one, you go to the 5th battle. So it's a really interesting format in that, each team has to pick 5 classes to rep, where each player represents one class. And the breakdown is that 0 dragon players, of course, obviously, 3 Wardhaven players, and then 4 in Forest, Sword, Rune, and Abyss, and then 1 artifact portal player. So there you go.
So each team was 4 Rio decks: Sword, Rune, Abyss, and Roach. and then one jobber deck, Lord Haven, and the one artifact.
Well, once again, it's a format. It's a format where you bring Wardhaven because if the enemy team has Roach in the back, then you queue Wardhaven against it. But yeah, I will say though, the first game of the entire day was the Artifact Portal, and the Artifact Portal won. And the funny thing is, do you know what card they won with? Do you know what card they won with, Tonko? They won with the one of Odin that was in the list.
Classic maneuver.
That's called in the deck.
There you go. But yeah, pretty interesting. I think at the end of the thing, Lavanga Hokkaido won, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was hard for me to parse the stream because it was entirely in Japanese. But that's the lineup with Roach Forest, mid-range Sword Spell Boost Rune, Wardhaven, and mid-range Abyss. So all the other Abysses were aggro, but they played mid-range and they were able to take it. I mean, that makes sense, right? Mid-range Abyss should have the advantage over aggro generally. So there you go.
Yeah, mid-range has gotten a lot more popular over the past week or two.
For multiple reasons. We'll also talk about that. Well, I guess we'll just lead into that right now. Mid-range Abyss has also gotten popular because of the Japanese best of one beta test tournament where there was 7 rounds, and the one that took all 7 wins without a single loss was controlling mid-range Abyss. So there you go. It even beat Sword in the final round. So that's probably, if you're seeing an uptick in mid-range Abyss or controlling Abyss on ladder, Pro League and the beta test tournament is probably why. So there you have it. That's all I really have to say about that. Shall we just...
The most expensive deck in the game.
Yeah, by far. It is extremely expensive. For no... I mean, it's really funny. It's like 21 legendaries, but, you know, what are you going to do?
You know, that was one of the... That was one of the decks I crafted and was not doing well with. But to be fair, I only spent maybe like one night playing Abyss and it was just 2 days to practice more with it. So
I was playing super controlling Abyss, but it straight up loses to Rune. So what I've done recently, and that's why I dropped a Sapphire, but what I've done recently was that I took inspiration from a list I saw on Twitter where I added like some aggro elements to my list and also controlling elements, and it ended up working pretty well. Against Rune, I just played like Rage of Serpents, Excella, and then against every other matchup, I go into the controlling game plan with Charon and Olivia Ceres, and then like this deck feels like it can do anything if I get the right draw, and I kind of I love that about it. So there you go.
I'll try that sometime.
Moving on. Next up, we got the online championship. So guys, if you didn't know, there is a Shadowverse online championship that is run in Japan, but it is open technically to international players, but only from certain countries. So you're Japan, obviously, but then also Taiwan, South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, and Australia. I think it's freaking...
Oceania.
It's freaking whack that Indonesia is not on here. But
that's funny.
But yeah, that people got so pissed off, and I totally get it. But
Shadowverse is huge in Indonesia.
Yeah, Shadowverse is massive in Indonesia, so it's extremely whack that Indonesia is on here. Like, especially that Indonesia is not on here and Australia is messed up. No offense to Kaylin, but there's just like way less Shadowverse players in Australia.
No one plays it here. I've seen like 6 whole Shadowverse Australians and never in real life.
It's like legitimately messed up. But anyway, the beta test tournament, the registration was open. It's closed now. It closed on the August 4th, but it's happening on August 10th. So I'm pretty sure it's streamed. Maybe. So we'll take a look, but that's a pretty cool one. Top 4 players earn a slot to compete in the Japan Championship Day 1. So that's happening August 10th, so look out for that. But then there's also the actual Shadowverse Online Championship, not the beta test. Registration for that is still open until August 10/11. So by the time this podcast comes out, you'll have like 1 day to register for it if you want to. That's happening on the 23rd and 24th of August. So look forward to that. On that one, the champion wins 5 million yen and the ability to earn a slot in Day 1 of World Grand Prix. Not Japan Championship, World Grand Prix. So real, legitimate stakes, real money on the line. So if you're from Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, or Australia, check that shit out. It's definitely worth it. So there you go.
I can't do that, man. I way too much competitive anxiety. I'm not good at the game. I'm not practicing.
That's fair enough.
No chance. My trying.
That's fair enough. But you know, it's just something to keep in mind. It's pretty cool. Also, on the SVO side, we have the Qualifier 1 open for registration. So this is the one that's so to give context, SVO right now is basically split into 3 quadrants. You have the kickoff, which we just had, and that one leads you to World Grand Prix. Then we have the qualifier series, where all of the qualifiers lead into the qualifier finals, which then leads to World Grand Prix. And then we have Lance Chance qualifier, which leads to World Grand Prix. So like there's 3 routes for World Grand Prix in SVO right now. So qualifier 1 is happening on the 16th and 17th. And the registration period is once again until 10th and 11th August. So check that out if you're from anywhere in the world, basically, except for Japan, South Korea, North Korea. And it's funny that that's specified. China and Taiwan. Other than that, everyone should be open to that. So other than those countries. So if you're in North Korea, tough luck. But I think you have more things to worry about. All right, good stuff. Now, before
I've seen Mr. Kim playing Shadowverse before. He used to pop up in ranked all the time.
Mr. Kim, what are you, like his best friend? What is this?
Yeah, I play basketball.
All right, before we get into the SVO Kickoff Snafu, I want to cover Tonko's segment. Welcome to Classic Corner. Tonko, tell me about it. In July, we had the Alter Sphere format and Tacticians Cup. How was that?
Yes, Classic is my field of expertise. Because I've been crashing out for Set 2 of Worlds Beyond, I went back to the Classics. And, dude, going back to the old Shadowverse, it's so crusty, dude.
Yeah, I imagine.
But it's comfy. Dude, going back to Alter Sphere, because Alter Sphere is a special expansion for me, because that was a format where I started doing content creation. So it was really nostalgic for me. And now that I'm an actually, like, decent player, I actually know what I'm doing. Alter Sphere actually had a lot of variety. It was so nice going back to a format that had variety. No, but like for those who don't know, for anyone that still kind of maybe sort of sometimes cares about Classic, you can go back to Classic as a palette cleanser if you're not super into Worlds Beyond in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do get Grandmaster, you can transfer over the Grandmaster sleeves into Worlds Beyond. You just need to get 5k to make it. And Alter Sphere, it was really funny when I was streaming Classic because a lot of Worlds Beyond only players and new players haven't actually seen Classic. So they saw me doing Deus Ex Machina Artifact, cheating all my play points and drawing a bunch of cards. I was like, what is this? I don't know what's happening. The Zoomers don't know what real Artifact look like.
Also, you had that experience with the deck and took it up against people playing Alter Sphere maybe for the first time. And, well, tell them about your streak.
I think I got what... I forgot my streak, but I got like
It was 17.
Okay,
I got a 17 win streak.
To be fair, Kalen stream sniped Tonko and legitimately had the game in the bag, and then conceded just so that Tonko could continue the streak.
Yeah, no.
That was at like 11. I pay him to act. We also had you and Colby, and you also sniped him. It was so easy to snipe in Classic because no one's playing
like
rank.
players in Classic right now, so I just queue the same time Tonko queues, and there's like a 90% chance I queue into it.
Like I got a high win streak, but I only survived because Kaden showed mercy. Calby, fellow Shadowverse streamer and competitive player, you and Calby, he had no mercy. I was in another win streak. He sniped me, and he just OTK'd me with, I don't even know what it was.
It was
Sky Devouring Horror.
Yeah.
Literally,
you know
I didn't
really
even know that was a build.
I was trying to snipe you like a couple games before he got to you, and I actually sniped him.
Yeah, same.
But
I sniped him too.
I played Poseidon and put up one ward, and he couldn't do anything for the rest of the game. It was so funny.
Nice.
Pretty much same.
That deck loses to one ward.
I had the chance to make wards. I just didn't know what his deck was doing.
Didn't know the card existed.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an actual proper build. But
see,
anyway,
we just play Poseidon because it's a good card, and they just ends up countering most decks. So there you go.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised by how many people are still playing Classic because I had a very healthy queue of matches throughout my entire stream. I've never had much delay trying to find people. Yeah. I mean, there's less people, so it's easier to stream snipe, but it's just, there's still a relatively healthy player base, which is kind of nice. So it's just fun to go back to, but it's still difficult to play Classic as a new player, because throwback rotation makes no effort to give you enough packs or cards.
I mean, you
to
get
build
10 packs,
a whole new deck.
Yeah,
you get 5.
Oh, what?
You get 5 daily packs. And that's it. No.
Oh.
And they don't do those crazy giveaways anymore.
Yeah, the last couple of months leading into Worlds Beyond, they were getting like 10 packs for every expansion, but that was just to commemorate the release of Worlds Beyond. That's about it. Which really sucks, because when I was streaming Altosphere, there were plenty of Worlds Beyond new players that were curious about Classic and they want to try it out, and I just had to break it to them. Nah, like, it's tough, dude.
It's impossible. It's actually impossible to break into Classic as a new player now, I think.
Yeah, which is a real shame, because there's so much potential.
Aren't terribly expensive, but Unlimited is a toxic format now.
I think Unlimited has a surprising amount of variety, though. You can play, like, Buff Dragon. You can play
one major thing was they fixed Despair Reborn just enough to make that not the best deck in the format forever.
I understand. Well, anyway, the next
one. This game is Unlimited is the best card text any Shadowverse card ever had, and I'm not
pretty stupid. So the next format, which is this month, August, is a Dawn of Calamity, and the Take 2 format is Godworm Take 2. So what's that about? Have you booted the game since August ticked over, Tonko?
Yeah. So, I'm not super interested in the Grand Prix, because it's just a regular Take 2 format. I'm more into the Take 2 All Stars with a wider pool of cards. But Calamity format, Altosphere was really comfy. It was nice and all. It was old Shadowverse.
What the hell even was
with some
Calamity?
interesting combos.
I don't even remember.
Calamity was Skeleton Raider Sekka.
Oh, yuck! Dude.
Yeah, so it is a more modern format, and there were more faster, more consistent OTKs. Altosphere had OTKs that was like surprising new players. Like when I was playing Altosphere, they saw me cheat out a Maisha OTK with like 40 damage Storm.
Yeah.
Not 40, but like 23 damage Storm at about turn 8 or whatever.
To me. That was the game against me.
I did. Yeah. But that was like that kind of combo is like relatively high low. But Calamity is at that stage where you can expect to get OTK'd around like turn 7 or so, which is
I was like, maybe I should hop into Classic, and then I heard it was Sekka, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what sucks? The Dawn of Calamity Grandmaster sleeves look kind of nice, and I wouldn't mind seeing them in silver. But I don't want to go back, and I don't want to go back.
At least when I was playing, there was still a decent amount of different decks I was seeing besides just Shadow and Force. This is a Buff Dragon format too. Buff Dragon's fine.
Dude. Dawn of Calamity I remember this pretty explicitly because it was so heartbreaking. But I was playing Belphomet, Calamity. Portal in Unlimited, that expansion to get to Grandmaster.
Limited.
And I got to exactly one win off when the maintenance happened, and I lost my chance. Yeah, it was like a make or break game. If I win this, I'm Grandmaster. If I don't get Grandmaster, and I lost. It was the most heartbreaking loss in my entire Shadowverse career.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Dude. All right, let's talk about the main topic, shall we? Finally, the SVO Kickoff Snafu, I'm calling it. So let me give you some context. SVO is the tournament circuit for overseas players for Shadowverse. Well, Classic before, now Worlds Beyond. And when they did this kickoff event, firstly, they made a couple of changes. The worst being that they switched from Battlefy, which is a tournament, hosting platform, to Start.gg, which the team was not familiar with. And it led to a bevy of both organizational and technical disasters that ended up delaying the kickoff for like several hours. And then the entire thing took like 10, 12 hours to finish. And it even bled into the scheduled timing for kickoff 2, so they had to delay that too. So, Tonko, do you have like a list of everything that went wrong? Is that what you said that you had earlier?
Yeah. So I was sent a list from the official Discord. They posted an announcement, just listing down all the stuff that went wrong and the apologies and how they'll do better next time, so on and so forth. This is a very extensive list of disasters.
All right, go for it.
So, all right. So, for one thing, to preface this, I'm pretty sure that the kickoff, for one thing, it was about over 1,000 players that signed up for SVO, which is really, really impressive. But that's a lot of rounds of Swiss you have to go through. I think there were
like
about
this event is a
10
terrible
rounds of
first
Swiss.
impression as well. That's the bad part.
It's tough. So especially since because we don't have separate regions for SVO anymore, because before you had SVO West and SVO Southeast Asia, they've combined the two into just one. So now there's plenty of players that are playing at bad time zones. They have to set aside a whole day or like stay up all night in a weird time zone to enter this tournament just for it to get delayed and like drag out for 12 hours or so. So here's a list of stuff that they've acknowledged, that the tournament organizers acknowledged. I'll go by a point basis. Number 1, during the transfer of waitlist players to the main bracket, there was an error where players who had registered and checked in were removed from the bracket. The admin team attempted to identify the players who were removed and re-added them in. However, a combination of delays on the start.gg platform and human error led to not all players being added in. And bear in mind that the tournament organizers, I think there were only just a couple people working.
Yeah, it's a small
maybe
team.
Like 3 or 4 guys. Yeah, it was a small team that was doing this, just trying to scram this all together as more and more things went wrong throughout the entire day. Number 2, there was confusion over brackets that were revealed to the waitlist players that seemed to indicate they were added to the tournament. This was an error on the admin team's part. Number 3, change in round 1 matchups for Pool 1. The admin team had incorrectly set the visibility on the Pool 1 bracket, which meant that players couldn't see their matches to check in and join. We opted to try to reset these matches so players would have a chance to play. However, this process was too slow with the tournament platform. So it's a disaster both from the perspective of the players just trying to get in and play their games, and for the tournament organizers just trying to figure out like what is even happening and how do we play around this? Number 4, players not being DQ'd and unable to report match results. Many matches are not updating from user submissions and require the tournament admins to use the back end to confirm results. This is compounding the tournament delays as these need to be done on a 1-by-1 basis, and the admin team is encountering stability issues with the website. I don't even know what the delay was between rounds as well, because it took like 2 hours for them to just start. And then they also have to scramble through all of this between rounds as well, too. Number 5, players not being dropped in the tournament.
Yeah.
The status of players who no-showed or dropped was not reflected in round 2 of Swiss. These drops were delayed due to the overall stability issues found with the site, and the admin team focusing on keeping the tournament rounds advancing. Number 6, incorrect scores.
How many are
Some
there? Before we continue, how many are there?
We still have several more.
Okay.
Some players reported incorrect scores, and they've adjusted these on a case-by-case basis. Number 7, adding players on the waitlist in the incorrect order. Players from the waitlist were added based on their check-in time rather than their registration time. This is an error by the admin team. Number 8, unable to check into matches. There seems to be an issue in start.gg where players are unable to check into the matches, which causes further issues with match result reports. The admin team was working on to support the users as we see reports. Number 9, delayed public deck lists. Our admin team did not complete and post a public deck list in a timely manner. And I believe that's it. That's all I was sent.
I think it's crazy that they like their first event with like 1,000+ players was also the first time they ever used start.gg. That was obviously a mistake.
Yeah.
They had like 8+ years of experience using Battlefy, and they know what Battlefy can handle. So like having their first run be with start.gg with no test run ahead of time is pretty rough. So I honestly, obviously that's a big mistake on their end, but also it just seems like start.gg is kind of a dud site. Like it just seems like so.
I didn't even know what start.gg was before this, but apparently a bunch of fighting game tournaments or communities have used start.gg and it was terrible for them as well. They did make a note in this announcement post I'm reading that the decision to switch to start.gg was because for one, they were hoping to improve tournament operations, which obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But also with Battlefy, they had issues with Discord integration. So there seemed to be things that they were hoping would work out better in start.gg,
and they didn't.
Everything fell apart, and I believe they just went back to Battlefy at this point.
They did indeed. I will say, obviously, terrible first impression for most people, especially this is the first international tournament, and it sucks that they didn't take precautions to test start.gg. That being said, a lot of the stability issues you can't really test until there's a big load. So like, what are you going to do, right? Like you can't test 1,000-player tournament on your own. Second, I think, honestly, we have to give them credit for handling it about as best as you possibly could. Like they immediately switched back to Battlefy. They immediately rescheduled the events. They had a rerun and preliminary 2 held on the next weekend. And like, it's pretty much the best salvaging they could have done. That being said, still, wow, what a terrible situation. And I want to say,
impressive.
I just want to say real quick, Tanko, that obviously, like people who played in this tournament, it's like valid to be frustrated. But I do want to note that this is obviously not what the tournament organizers wanted either, and they're probably just as frustrated as you guys. So, while it is obviously understandable to be upset, I will say just I think they resolved it the best they could, and I do wish that people will remember to be a little gracious regarding that as well, just because obviously this isn't what the team wanted either, right? Like they were trying to improve the tournament, they had good intentions, and then it just ended up not working out. But they did try to fix it as best they could, at least. So there you go.
I do think that a bunch of these issues wouldn't be as enormous and devastating. Honestly, if the tournament wasn't as big, I feel like if it wasn't, if all the overseas players weren't playing just one single tournament, because having it split between West and Southeast Asia, it was 2 separate tournaments, which was more to organize, but it was different pools of players for different time zones.
I think as well, right? Like these events were planned way in advance. Maybe they didn't see the popularity coming either. Like Shadowverse, I don't know about you guys, but Shadowverse Worlds Beyond is way more popular than I thought it would be. So that's also a thing.
So if we were to split the player base from this first kickoff into 2 separate regions, like how they were with Classic, West and Southeast Asia, I'm pretty sure even then, even when Shadowverse Classic was really popular, I don't think we ever reached maybe 500 players per SVO.
No.
I can remember going back a couple, years now on the podcast mentioning that I would just be happy with Shadowverse Worlds Beyond launching with higher player counts than Shadowverse Classic ever peaked at. And then it quadrupled that number twice.
So just a whole tsunami of, mismanaged expectations.
Too soon.
Sorry. I didn't mean that at all.
You said the C word.
Oh, no. But you know what I mean? And these events are planned way in advance, too. I think, obviously, they could have done better in testing the platform and making sure that admins knew how to operate start.gg properly before the event happened. But other than that, I think some of these problems were kind of just a factor of it's just too many damn people, and they couldn't properly test the latency and the stability of the platform. That's not something you can test with a small team, right? Unless you have 1,000 devices, right? So that's tough, man.
hypothetically speaking, if there were two regions, you could have one region take one for the team. One of them goes first to beta test the new system. Everything goes wrong with a smaller pool of players.
That's the thing. Like, one of the things that the Japanese side did with the best of one tournament is do a beta test. Like, that's something that maybe could have been done.
They did do a beta test?
No,
what?
No, on the Japanese side they did. But
I didn't even know they did.
But I think them not doing it on the SVO side, who knows, Ryan? There's like a lot of moving pieces. There could have been like a logistical or bureaucratic reason why they didn't do that. So, like, I wish we had infinite budget and, like, you know, ceteris paribus, no factors other than the actual tournament. But there's a lot of moving pieces, so I understand why they maybe couldn't have done a beta test. I think it's unfortunate though, you know, especially if the Japanese side was able to do it. So that being said, like I said, sucks. Everybody was upset. The tournament organizers were equally, if not more so, upset. I will promise you guys that. So for people who did show some grace about that and, you know, were understanding that they're doing their best to fix that, I do appreciate that. And, you know, I think they did do the best they could, honestly. They switched back to the platform they knew was working, and they rescheduled it immediately. Yeah. So, you know, it's basically the best possible outcome out of a disaster, right? So
the response to the disaster was quick and effective. They had a second round of kickoffs. Those that already qualified for the first round didn't have to come back a whole another weekend to play. And I know, I personally know a bunch of people that did terribly in the first day, but did way better in the second kickoff attempt. So,
by the way, I don't think I even talked about the kickoff breakdowns, that the replacement kickoff breakdowns. So I probably should, but yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. So basically, a huge rise in ward havens between the first round and the second round, just to prevent Roach from being played, and that's basically the only change.
After people saw the Ward Haven tech on the first kickoff, they applied that to the second one. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole situation obviously is not ideal, but yeah, I'm glad that they were able to resolve it in a quick way and basically the best possible way they could have handled it. So, and you know, I like that they're not escaping responsibility. They legitimately, like you said, they legitimately posted in the Discord, here's a list of things that we messed up on, and now we're gonna fix it. And I appreciate
they took responsibility.
Yeah.
They took responsibility, and there was a good ending. So nice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know, mistakes happen. Obviously, this one is a pretty big mistake, but they did the best they could. So I appreciate that. That's all I got to say. Kaylin, what's your take on this?
I didn't get any apology packs in my crate for the
because
SVO
it's a tournament. It doesn't affect 99% of people.
For real.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, that's the end of the episode. Let's go into the viewer submission section. Yippee! Viewer question from last week was, what was the strongest card in the set? And really, no surprise, pretty much everybody said Gildaria, Odin, and Norman, which is great. I will say I am trying to do a video of like top 5 strongest cards, and I'm missing the bottom 2, so I still need suggestions on that.
Feeny is the strongest card, because if you play 3 Feeny, every card in your deck costs 2 or 1 play points, and that's crazy. That's way too strong, and she needs to be nerfed.
I think you should die. The next,
like we said earlier, I feel like it was too soon for cards like Gildaria and Odin. In the very second expansion, the fact that we already have a huge free super evolve and a generic removal storm is a bit much. Meanwhile, Norman healing for 8, you know. So going back to Classic and all, I'm pretty sure even in Classic, there were barely any decks or formats that had heals as huge and as frequent as Spellboost does with Norman and Sage Light.
I swear to God,
even when we had...
I was just going to say, they used to be careful with giving Rune heal because Rune is a combo deck.
Exactly.
And if you give a combo deck heal, then they can do their combo. And now they're just giving Rune heal like willy-nilly.
They're
and I'm
really
like, what the hell?
careful with giving heal out to neutral, and Sword cannot heal at all right now. Dragon can barely heal. It's got like 2, well, unless you play Neptune.
That's late game heals,
That's really conditional.
There were several decks.
Be more careful about that.
There are several crafts that have traditional weaknesses that they're meant to have to not be, intended weaknesses, like how ramp typically usually has a bad early game because the late game is so strong. Meanwhile, Rune, usually Rune is intended to be fragile because it's a combo-based deck, but then you just kind of removed all of its weaknesses. So that's cool.
Yeah, great. Love it. Yay.
Yay.
Well, okay, so we know what the top 3 best cards are. What's the number 4 and number 5 in your opinion?
I haven't played against enough Abyss. It would have to be an Abyss card because it's the next best deck. I guess it would be Charon.
I think Charon is really good, yeah, but I think it's Vuela.
Oh no, yeah, it's Vuela.
Yeah.
No, Vuela always catches me off guard, dude. When I was playing, I think it was on Take 2. I was doing really, really well. I was doing perfectly fine against an Abyss player, but then they super evolved Vuela, and that got them exact lethal. I always forget that they can super evolve a surviving guy or a ghost with Vuela to give it even more buff. It's like,
It's
oh
really,
wow,
really
it's early
good.
game, it's late game damage is pretty good. Yeah,
And I think we also have to give one slot to either Garden's Allure or Ambush from above. Like that just gives Roach so much more gas.
Yeah, I was actually about to say Ambush is crazy. It is the best Forest Craft card they got this expansion because it is the only Forest Craft card they got this expansion.
I think Garden's
That was
Allure is
so
really, really good too. Like to be fair, like Garden's Allure is like such a strong card. You fuse away like some fodder and you draw 2 for 2. Like that's crazy in a combo deck. Yeah. So that's probably the top 5. I'm probably gonna make a video about that. So there you go. But I will say some Roach lists don't run. Some Roach lists don't run Garden's Allure, but every Roach list runs Ambush. So I'm probably gonna call it Ambush. Yeah. No. But there you go. Guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. Now I'll talk about the last thing, which is the next viewer question. I want to ask you, yes, you in the watching or listening to this right now, what do you want to see from set 3? It's only a few weeks out. We know that it's Omen themed. Who do you want to see return? What mechanics do you want to see return? Let me know in the comments down below. That's it for,
and I have an alternate thing. I have an alternate viewer question.
Oh, great.
Who now that we have a video aspect to the podcast, sometimes you can see it. Who brings the best fit to the podcast? I also want to see those.
Dude, nobody
comments.
cares.
Trust me, people care. People care.
I brought my tsunami fit this time.
Nice.
You got kicked for being AFK.
Yeah, you did.
like
Nice.
10 minutes ago.
You're not even in the thing anymore.
Oh, cool.
Good stuff. Well, guys, thank you for listening. If you want to listen to other episodes of this podcast, just check out the YouTube. I'm pretty sure we're not uploading to Spotify anymore because it's actively losing me money. So I'm gonna stop doing that because I didn't get the monetization requirements for the audio platform. So we're a YouTube exclusive podcast now, I guess. There you go. Yeah, good stuff. Check out Such Patanko on YouTube and Twitch at Such Patanko. Check out Lord Galen at Lord Galen on Reddit, Discord, and Twitter. And check out me, Ignideus, on all those places too. Okay, bye!
You will find my summon sign in New Vegas because I'm addicted to the best game ever made again.
Nice.
You will find me safe and sound on higher ground.
Good stuff.
Bye.
Well.